From one crazy CEO to another. Our good old boy Tony Khan. This little thing. Let's read his Twitter. He's upset. He's got a little crazy on the Twitter machine. This weekend marks 1 year. You know, like either this was a Facebook reminder or he's been just grinding at the teeth for the full year. Because, like, you know, Facebook reminders always do that. They're like, hey, remember that one time you lost everything?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, thanks.
1 year ago.
This weekend marks 1 year since the Mayo Clinic saved my mom's life. Now I feel kind of bad making fun of him, but that's hence why he put that. That's definitely why he put it there. Yeah. Moving on. During our ordeal, many AEW talent came to me alleging WWE tampering, including them to break their contracts. I'll never forget these phone calls. At our side in the hospital, it's when business became personal for me. Now it's personal. So he goes on, this is nothing new. I mentioned this last year. She came home. It's relevant today because she checked in for surgery 1 year ago today. I've mentioned several times since. Mayo clinics are heroes. Thanks to them. And recovery, well, it looks like a miracle. So, all right. Well, let's tip the hat, Miss Khan. I hope you have a long, healthy life. Tony, really upset about the whole contract situation. And I don't know if you should be making this public. Like,
well, he keeps complaining about it. Like, everyone already pointed out that the Regal thing was a little sus. Because, you know, WWE had, like, it's being reported now that WWE allegedly had a position already ready for him to go. And it was just a done deal that he just had to get out of AEW, and he was there. And he went to him while he was in the hospital, which I think is what pisses him off more about it now. And the other one was Swerve Strickland allegedly got contacted.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a reunion.
Reunion. And from what it was reported, sent it to his lawyer. But here's the thing. Okay, I get what Tony's saying, but first, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. Are you going to talk about Jeff Hardy then?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to talk about Jeff Hardy's really weird exit from WWE directly into AEW? Are we going to pretend that's not a thing? Are we going to talk about the fact that Sting openly said Tony Khan was talking to him while he was under contract about setting up a contract? No, because none of those things matter. Tampering isn't a real thing. Contract tampering does not apply in the wrestling world. It's only a thing in sports leagues because sports leagues are signed into a contracted deal together, which prevents them from contract tampering. It's against the rules of their league. They would be in violation of their league's rules and the law-binding contracts that they signed in those leagues. That's the only reason it becomes illegal there. It's not illegal in WWE and AEW's instance. They could contract tamper all they fucking want.
Yeah, and the big thing is make sure you get a lawyer. So make sure you get a lawyer. And the sport leagues, they definitely police themselves. This is kind of hard to prove in court. And from state to state, from company to company, it's different. Like, I used to be
you have to be able to, from my understanding, you have to be able to prove that they basically screwed things over to get out of a contract kind of a deal.
It's very difficult to prove. It's not an easy thing to prove. And like I said, let's just say, hey, make sure you have a lawyer. I have a lawyer for every contract I sign. I have a lawyer that looks out for the best of my interest. I am pro fucking lawyers because the world is a horrible place. With that said, I don't think you should go public with this. And second off, especially if you took in guys from them that were a bit questionable. And
yeah,
I've worked in all different types of entertainment, all different types of high-end contracts. And I'd get recruited all the fucking time. I would get recruited all the time. And, you know, I went to the Tokyo Game Show. What they're doing is recruiting each other. You know, it just happens all the time. So I don't understand. It's hard
usually
to
it
prove.
only becomes a problem if people put it in their contract that it's like, oh, you can't work within this industry within blah 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 period, those sort of a thing.
Yeah, like the 90-day no compete. You're not allowed
to. Yeah. But yeah, it's a stupid thing to get upset about. And when you've been doing it yourself, it's even worse, I think.
Yeah. And you also too, like, everywhere has different laws. So you have like the 90-day no compete, but you could probably sue them to get out of that. The problem is it would take longer than 90 days to get, you know what I mean, to go to court.
Not only that, but let's be realistic. If you really wanted to get around the 90-day no compete, like, all right, hypothetically, let's say for wildest, this is a hypothetical. We're going crazy.
All right, let's get nuts.
WWE releases Roman Reigns.
All right.
TKO decides, health issues, all that. It's not worth paying him what we're paying him for.
That would be a PR nightmare, but go on.
It would be. But we're in this crazy hypothetical world.
All right, we're going.
So naturally, AEW is like, shit, we want to snap him up immediately. He's hot. He's super hot. Let's grab him. AEW grabs him. But they don't want to, 90-day no compete. They could just go to Mexico. They could just go to Japan and just do a show with that CMML sets up in Mexico, CMLL sets up in Mexico, or a show that they do through NOAH or New Japan in Japan. And they could just have them work there, and it doesn't. I'm pretty sure the no competes don't apply outside of the U.S.
Well, I know each state is different, each country is different, and that's why you should definitely get a lawyer. I don't think they could
enforce it outside of it. I would, obviously get a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that they could just go to outside the country and be like, well, good luck trying to enforce it.
It just seems like either he's trying to rally people the wrong way, or he's just mad that pro wrestling isn't ran as smooth as the other sports leagues. But anyone that's ever seen pro wrestling is like, oh yeah, that's definitely not as smooth. Like the NFL, that's just smooth. The soccer leagues, it's pretty smooth. There's more corruption in the soccer leagues than there are in the NFL.
But they're also a lot bigger.
Yeah. So
a lot more teams.
It's one of those things. It's like, are you complaining that it's just the way it is? I'm just not sure why. Like, here's the thing. Me and Sid are Twitch streamers. Me and Rant and Review are novelists. We all have different gigs. What me and Sid complain about behind the scenes makes no sense to make public. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Yeah. No one gives a shit, But I guess, but then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe professionals don't give a shit, but the drama queens probably do.
Well, I think honestly, the reason he brings it up is more, I think the Regal one's more personal to him because he was in the hospital seeing his mom when it all went down. So I think he feels more betrayed by that, and I think that one just bothers him more. And I think he's just pissed about it and kind of yelling at clouds at this point. Like, I think he saw the Facebook reminder about his mom in the hospital a year ago and was like, oh shit, that's right, fucking Triple H and Regal. Because he was already pissed off about Triple H and HBK this week, as per his Twitter last week. He already had it on his head, because all anybody was talking about was him on Twitter and that stuff. So I could 100% see him just being like, oh yeah, I remember. And then being like, oh, and also, I'm justified for being mad because of this.
Yeah. And, when you're a small YouTuber, you try to reply to every comment. When you're a small Twitch streamer, you try to reply to every comment. Tony, you're not a small YouTuber. You're not a small Twitch streamer. You're not, you can just fucking walk away. Like, I feel like people know how to walk away from Twitter more than he does. Because obviously there's a benefit to writing everything out. But at the same time, he's just angry all the fucking time. And it's just like, you're mad about how the system works, but it's the fucking system.
I'm going to expose exactly why he's doing it, why he does it. Because you can tell by how active he is on Twitter. I guarantee you that what he does is, for him, scrolling through Twitter on his phone down the timeline.
Yeah.
Or even like searching for Tony Khan mentions or AEW mentions or some wrestler he's interested in looking for, and just scrolling down it is what he does while he's like thinking, while he's idling, while he's waiting for anything. And if he's awake and working as much as people say, there's a lot of in between time where he's going to be sitting there thinking, etc. You know what I mean? Just scrolling with it in his phone
Yeah.
while he's doing it. Checks the text, then it's still in his phone. Goes. He probably has his phone out in his hand almost all the time with how busy he is. So I imagine he's just scrolling it in between doing shit all the time, replying to shit on there. Or I'm going to expose him a little bit here. He's probably also getting some ideas that way. Scrolling, seeing someone with a fantasy book idea once in a blue moon that's actually not bad, that he's like, I'll go that way.
Who's gonna know? Fucking Tim Tam 7 only has 6 viewers.
Who's gonna know? Nobody liked this guy's post. Nobody even knows. It's at the bottom of 700 replies.
Fuck you, Tim Tam.
And they'll just say he got lucky. He just guessed and was lucky. But yeah, I guarantee that it's just he's scrolling through it and he's reacting. He's just reactionary. But I guarantee it's because he scrolls through it all the fucking time.
Yeah. It could get a little bit negative, and not that, but there's not many genuine voices out there, and there's also voices that are like, I'm gonna do this to benefit. It's like we know you're doing it to benefit, you know.
Well, it's also because like he'll reply to things that, from what I've seen, people will say he hasn't even been tagged in, like they haven't added him. They just had like his name in it.
Yeah.
So to get that, like you're putting in a little effort to be finding those. So you're definitely on a lot.
Yeah. Two things need to happen. One, because I'm not saying don't use social media, because a lot of people use social media the correct way. One, you have to if you're small and you're not, you just react to the good and the bad. Like, oh man, thanks. Hey dude, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But when you're as big as him, just react to the fucking nice ones, the kind ones. You're not gonna fucking win anyone over. Listen, no one has changed their fucking mind ever in their whole fucking life in a Twitter comment.
Yeah.
When's the last time you're at a fucking bar and you're like, hey, I don't fucking drink anymore? Why not, Joe? I was in a fucking Twitter argument and that guy had a great fucking point. Hey, dude, I was gonna vote for fucking Evil Guy 1, but now I vote for Evil Guy 2. How come, Joe? Goddamn Twitter convinced me. Like, that's just not going to happen. So,
and on the topic of contract tampering, it's just like, let it go, dude. It doesn't exist between you and WWE the way that it does for you as the Jaguars.
Yeah, because the NFL wants to protect its product.
Yeah.
There is no NFL of pro wrestling, even though people are like, oh, it's WWE. It's not WWE. WWE is its own thing. AEW
it's because in the NFL, it's more like the different teams are more like
franchises,
different managers of one corporation, of one store. You know what I mean? They're just different managers.
And on top of that, you know, the NFL is guaranteed to make profit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the reason they protect it that way.
They're
protecting its image as a whole and keeping everyone collectively happy, because their collective happiness is their collective success.
Yeah.
And they're greedy fucks.
Tony, focus on what AEW was, and you're too big to respond to every comment. We're not. We still respond to every comment, but maybe one day we'll. On Twitter, I don't respond to every tweet. I got shit
remember
to do.
what the Frozen girl says. When you think about the contracts that have escaped you, let it go. Let it go. Andrade was definitely also tampered with. If you want to claim tampering, let it go.
Let it go.